Hi there. My first tutorial is going to be using Google Forms. I'm familiar with Google Drive, but never have really used Google Forms. I filled out some surveys that other people have sent me, but I went to a Google conference a couple of months ago, and they showed us some really great things that you can do with Google Forms. And so today I'm going to be telling you or showing you how I use Google Forms for quick quizzing and maybe activating prior knowledge or shooting out a couple of questions just to see if my students were paying attention to the previous day's lecture or technology assignment that we did. So what we're going to do is you can go to Google. I always keep my Gmail open. I don't have enough width with just in my school email, so I always have my students send stuff through Gmail or Google Classroom. So this is my school Gmail. So since it's up all the time, it's really easy to access all of the applications through Google Drive. So if you open up your Gmail right over here at this grid, if you just want to click on it and go down until you find Google Forms. And if you can't find it like we couldn't here, just check over here for even more. And we're going to go right down, and it's within the Office. So Google Home and Office, we're going to go right over here to Google Forms, and we're going to click on that. My internet is really slow today, so I forgive me if you would. So it comes up with Google Forms, totally untitled. Everything is left for you to fill out however you want. This is really great for doing multiple choice questions. I do short answer and essay questions on it. I have a horseshoe design as far as how my students are seated in class. I have a one-to-one initiative with MacBook Airs. And so one thing that I really love about Google Forms is not only does it mix the answers, but it also mixes the questions. So no one student is going to be answering the same question at the same time. So it really cuts down on cheating. Plus, you just have to manage your classroom as well. So anyway, here we are. And I'm just going to do a really quick one question quiz here for my students possibly. So we're going to go start right over here with untitled form or untitled document. My sophomores are studying characterization right now, and we've been talking a lot and reading on stories from Ernest Hemingway. So I am going to, I can't type and talk at the same time, it's hard for me. I'm going to go ahead and title this quick one question quiz Hemingway. If you come right up here to the untitled form, it's going to go ahead if you click it and name it whatever it is that you named it. So here you have your questions, and once your students start responding, you're going to be able to check here for responses. So it is immediate how you get the question or how you get the answers back, which is really, really nice for assessments. You have some tools that you can use up here as well. Here you have your color palette, and that's going to change this whole purple background if you like. You can preview what your form looks like, and here are settings. And I am a very visual person, so I always like to match whatever my quiz or form is with whatever that we're talking about. And we're talking about Hemingway, and he really loved safaris and hunting. He was a man's man. So we're going to kind of go down here, and we're going to go to travel because he did like to travel a lot. And you can see here, this is going to change your banner with whatever that you want. There's a whole gamut of things that you can choose from. I'm just going to choose this Babbling Brook here, and I'm going to select, and it's going to change this background for you. There's all kinds of things that you can do. Again, this is your preview. And then if we hit the settings button, you can do a lot of things just within settings. I'm going to click that can submit only one response because it's actually going to require a login from the student. And plus I don't want them to answer a whole bunch of times. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and if you want the student to see a summary of their responses, then you can go ahead and click this button. If you want them to show how much progress that they've made, you can click this button here. But you definitely, if you're doing any kind of multiple choice or for this kind of situation, you definitely want to click the shuffle questions bar, because that's going to shuffle those questions up so that not everybody is on the same question. And I'm going to save. All right, now we're ready to go. Right here in your form description, you can type anything that you want to if you want a little bit more detailed description of what this is. I always communicate with my students what that is, so I don't normally fill that out. So my first question is going to be multiple choice. You can hit the drop-down menu here, and you can see that you can have all different kinds of questions. A checkbox, drop down, you can do a scale. Do you like this or this on a scale of 1 to 5? There's short answer and paragraph, which I use a lot, but for this instance I'm just going to click multiple choice, and we're just going to give a myriad of answers for these students to answer. So the question that I'm going to ask is about Hemingway's writing style. So let's see, what was the writing style coined that Hemingway created? All right, so that's going to be my question, and my multiple choice answers, I'm just going to add 4. So I'm going to go ahead and keep clicking add option until I have 4 responses. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll eventually get rid of this last one. But option 1, let's see, I'm going to make it up. Let's see, Hemingway's style. Right here, I'm going to put the actual answer, which is the iceberg theory. Whoops, it's not icebergy. Iceberg theory. Here I'm going to put, oh, I don't know, ice cube theory. And here I'll put, oops, had an option, iced tea theory. Okay. And you don't have to check which one that it is. You don't need to do that because you'll be checking that. It'll show you a progress bar when everybody's done. I don't need this last question, so I'm just going to X out of it. Alrighty. Now, down below here you have some options. If all of a sudden you don't like this question, you can totally trash it if you want to. I'm personally going to keep it. If you want to duplicate the question in the exact same way, so like I want another multiple choice question with 4 answers as number 2, you just duplicate that and then you take out the question and the answers and you put them in the way that you want them to. And then this is what you need to click on if you want this question to be required, of which I do. This is one that they absolutely have to answer. So I'm going to click that radio dial and I'm going to come over here and it's going to give me the shuffle option order, and I want these answers to be shuffled as well as the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click that. And then over here, if you want to add another question, you can. If you want to add a title and description to the question, these are really cool. If you want to do a picture or a video, you can actually add that in. Like I'll just go ahead and click on it. If I want to add an image, like I can add an image of, oh, I don't know, the book cover of A Clear, Well-Lighted Space by Ernest Hemingway. And I could ask them a question about symbolisms from the book cover that Hemingway used in the story, A Clean, Well-Lighted Place. And they'd have to then look at the picture. Alrighty, I'm not going to do that for time's sake, so I'm just going to cancel out of that. You can have them watch a video that adds it straight from YouTube if you want to find it on YouTube, and then ask them a follow-up question about it, which is always great. And then you can split it up into sections. For me, being a literature and English composition teacher, this is great. So if we do characterization and we read 4 different stories, I can split these sections up in the categories of the stories. So that's really good for me as well. For the issue of time, we're just going to leave it right like it is today. Okay, so we have 1 question here. So I'm ready to send it to my students. I'm going to come right up here and I'm going to hit the send key. Now, You have the option to either email it to your students and you just fill in their emails right there. If you have them in your contacts, they'll auto-populate, which is really cool. You can add your subject and your message right here. And then of course you want to click this button because you want to include the form in the email. The quick way that I like to do it is right up here. You can either hit the envelope if you want to send an email, or I love being able to just send the link or write the link up on the whiteboard and it's right there for all of them as a bell ringer activity, and I do that a lot. So I'm going to click on a link and it's going to give me this long Google Forms link. I always like to shorten it, okay, so I'm going to give the option of shortening it, and here you go. And I'm going to copy and paste this into an email to my students because that way it's just easier for me. For time's sake, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to send this to me as the student. I'm going to go ahead and X out of here so it'll auto-populate that link for me. And it's saved in my drive anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and this person is going to be my student today. Quiz, bell ringer, and then I'm going to put the directions. Let's see. And I'll put the link in there. And then I'm going to hit send. And I'll come right back over here. Oh, look, Mrs. Fleming has sent me an email. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And I'll click on what she's asked me to do. And again, sorry for the wait. All right, looks like she sent me a little quiz about Hemingway. What was the writing style coined that Hemingway created? Well, I know that, and that's the iceberg theory. Now, one thing that I do want to tell you that is really important, if you just want to do a survey of how many of your students know the answer to this question, they don't need their name. But if you want to give each of your students some kind of grade, you need to make a question somewhere in there that says, please add your name, and then they'll just fill in that blank. I'm just doing a survey today. So I'm going to submit that for my teacher, Mrs. Fleming, and then I'm going to come off and the bell has rang. We're getting ready to start. Everybody's answered their bell ringer activity, and I myself am going to go back to my forms, and I can either access that through my drive, or I can just go back through the link and click my responses. That'd be easy at this point in time since I'm the one that's taking it. But I'm actually going to go back through my drive. And everything in your drive is set up, or I have it set up, that it's alphabetical order because for me that's just easiest. So I completely skipped the H's. There we go. There's Hemingway. I'm going to go ahead and click on him. And we'll see how many. I know that I've sent it to one person and one person has responded. So 100% of everybody has responded to that question, and they actually responded with obviously the iceberg theory. So it gives it to me in a pie chart and I see that everybody answered it correctly. So it's just a really great way of checking for knowledge, for remembering, to activate prior knowledge, do a survey, or what have you. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And I hope this is able to be used in whatever facility that you are working in.